On February 2nd, 1848, the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo was signed, officially ending the Mexican-American War. As a result, Texas and all of Alta California became part of the United States, and the United States agreed to pay $15 million for this newly claimed territory. The acquisition of Alta California included the land of not just that we know of California today, but also Utah, Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, and parts of Colorado and Wyoming. With the foreign policy doctrine of American expansion put forth by President James Knox Polk when he became president in 1845, made the war with Mexico inevitable. How did California, though, and especially Sutter's Fort, fit into this war? Well, Congress declared war on May 13th, 1846. 7 weeks later, on July 7th, 1846, Commodore John Drake Sloat and the United States Navy arrived and seized Monterey, the capital of Alta California, raised the U.S. flag, and claimed California for the United States. 2 days later, U.S. troops landed in Yerba Buena, now known today as San Francisco, and shortly afterwards, the Bear flag is lowered and the U.S. flag is raised over Sonoma, thus ending the very short-lived, 3-week-long Bear Flag Republic. And on July 11th, 1846, Joseph Warren Revere, a lieutenant in the United States Navy and the grandson of Paul Revere, will order the U.S. flag raised over Sutter's Fort. And at that time, the United States military will seize control of Sutter's Fort under the command of John Charles Fremont. Edward Kern is put in charge of the fort during the war. And this place becomes an outpost for the United States military during the Mexican-American War. There's no battles here in Northern California. They were all in Southern California, but the crops and the cattle from the fort was used to feed the soldiers during the war effort. It is in January 1847, following the Treaty of Cahuenga, that hostilities in California end, and with some sort of peace in California, further gives Sutter the idea to create a town in which a sawmill would need to be built to get lumber. And it's on January 24th, 1848, that James Marshall will find gold at Sutter's Mill, 8 days before the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo is signed. Now, I'm not really one as a historian to be thinking of what ifs or anything like that, but you always wonder that if gold was found earlier, if that would have changed the outcome of the Mexican-American War. The real outcome of the war after the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo is just further encapsulates the very fabric of the idea of manifest destiny at this time, justified further American colonization of the western half of the continent, and further destruction of native life here in this area. After all, after the treaty was negotiated, this was a treaty between the United States and Mexico. It's important to remember that this did not recognize any Native American tribes, the very people who had been inhabiting this actual area for thousands of years.